What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. So, we're going over Helminth Titania today. One of the most broken builds I've seen in quite a while. This is good for farming relics, good for farming bile, credits, endo, like everything basically. So, we'll be going over that today. I'll be showing the full Archon shard setup as well. But before we get into the information, we do have a sponsor for today's video. Let's go over Yahaha Studios. Let's talk about the sponsor of today's video, Yahaha Studio. Yahaha is a brand new user-generated content creation platform for creating 3D multiplayer interactive experiences and games. With Yahaha, you can create and share your own virtual adventures. But even better, no coding experience needed with Yahaha. They have a huge selection of smart assets, and it's never been easier to create your own dream games. Yahaha even has social features for multiplayer experiences. Keeping up with your friends are creating, keeping up with what they're keeping up with you're creating, and you might even be able to build some new friendships along the way from like-minded communities. The only limiter really is your imagination. I've seen tons of different games in Yahaha. Some of my favorites being, references to Squid Game and, other things like that. So you can use my link down below to try the early access version of Yahaha for free. Thank you so much to Yahaha for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back into it. Thank you so much to Yahaha for sponsoring today's video. Alright, so the current build we got going on today is going to be based around Nova's recently buffed Neutron Star Augment. And this thing, you've probably seen other people talking about it as well. It is actually like nuts how strong they made it. And the big thing we're going over today is the fact that it breaks open containers. This is like probably the best loot ability in the game. And when I say probably, no, it is the best loot ability in the game because breaking boxes in Warframe's boxes have tons of different resources in them. But you know the nav coordinates are exclusively from box drops, from what it says on the wiki. So this is really good. What we'll be doing is basically the general. You're seeing the gameplay right now. What you do is you push the ability button. It's also Nova's Helminth ability, and you push it again, and it blows up all the stars that go around you. That's as concise as I can make it. So pretty much what you want to do is be spamming that button. Whatever button you have the Helminth ability on, so for example on my Titania build I got on the third ability, press it once, the stars are around me, press it again, no energy cost on the second cast, they explode and blow up everything in the area. Additionally, if you were trying to kill some enemies with it, it does cause some heat procs now too. And you can fly around, it's like pretty much having seeking missiles in Razor Wing, so that guy's pretty far away. It might be 1 damage, but those are heat procs, which can stack up over time. I'm not really going to recommend you do this on high-level enemies. This is a star chart nuking setup here that you're going to be... It might become your new favorite build if they don't end up nerfing it. And they might end up nerfing it because it is so overwhelmingly strong. So let's go over what we have as far as the build is concerned, and we can talk about some missions that you can take this to get, some good value out of it. Before we go in there, though, notice I do have 5 Archon shards. They've been messing up the weekly resets, so I actually have 4 Archon shards that are Azure, and I should have more than blue. I should have more Crimson and Amber than I currently do, but yeah, they keep messing it up. So our Archon shards have been used for energy, and energy. Lets us technically replace Prime Flow. It's not as much as Prime Flow, but another 150 energy ain't too bad. Some increased ability strength. We are running overextended for big range, so I'm going with ability strength here to try to offset that. We also do have Matter Eye for 40% more power strength too. We will be positive strength after all those buffs are applied. And Amber Archon shard with casting speed, pretty much the best one, period. I wish I had more of those. Now, as far as the build's concerned, it's going to be really up to you what you want to use this for. Now, you might see I have a bunch of stuff, no survivability. I got Razor Wing Blitz. Something that a lot of people are using with this mod, and if you want to kill enemies with it, it will make it a lot better for killing enemies, is Archon Vitality. Now, it's going to really depend what level enemies you're fighting against, but Archon Vitality will give you 2 heat procs per proc on heat abilities, and this is a heat ability Neutron Star, so that can be some good heat damage for you right there. But if you're just breaking boxes, you don't need to run it. So we've got range and range. I technically could put a little bit more range on there. That I realized this. You can put stretch right here for a little bit more range. Doesn't really matter that much. And that's going to make it where our Seeker missiles are going to have 37.6 radius. So we're going to break every box in the area, basically. And then we got Neutron Star, which you need for this to make it with the exploding projectiles. And we've also got Razor Wing Blitz for increased movement speed. The rest of this stuff is just allowing me to spam abilities faster and more regularly, and also a little bit of power strength and duration to change the formula of how much drain per second we have in our 4. We've also got Molt-Efficiency. The more duration you have on your build, the more Neutron Star particles you get. So for with this build right now, we have 9 particles, but Molt-Efficiency can give you up to 36% increased duration above that, giving us like over 10 particles. So even more particles to launch out. Doesn't really matter that much, but it is somewhat helpful in the long run. Preparation to get full energy when you spawn in. This is a very good build for just like going through missions really, really fast. Like for example, if you want to farm Ukko in the Void for Aya or relics or whatever, or even Argon crystals, this could be your new favorite build. It is very good for the Void. There's lots of containers in the Void, and like breaking up a container, you'll get like some special mod out of it. They can drop, Argon crystals which can be used for bile. Guys, this is probably one of the best bile farming builds in the game. I'm going to probably have a full bile farming guide eventually, but this is, unless they nerf this, this will be the build I will use in that guide. It's technically better than Zaku and Limbo if you're doing it right. So, yeah, get used to seeing this until they nerf it potentially. Yeah, going over the rest of the build, we have Boreal's Hatred. Now, it's going to be really good for spamming the abilities. As we are not running Prime Flow, you technically could run Prime Flow if you wanted to. This is going to reduce the ability efficiency, or reduce the cost of abilities a good amount, and will give us damage reduction from airborne. Seems pretty good on Titania. We have 13.75 energy per cast, and you are constantly spamming this. The way you use this ability is you spam it over and over and over again. I'm going to also recommend you have Arc and Energize. If you get low on energy, it's going to give you like things like 250 energy to start off with. Now, you could run Prime Flow. It's going to be a little bit worse for higher levels, but it's technically usable. And the thing is, guys, if I had more Archon red shards, crimson shards, I'd be running that. But since we have 4 blue shards, I'm using what we have available to us. Even though I did every call mission ever, I have mostly blue shards. So yeah, ideally in the future, when we get more shards, I'll be probably taking off like the final build. Once we have all the shards, I know I put out a poll on this a couple days ago. Once we have all the shards, I'm gonna definitely put Prime Flow back on here. Probably like in one of these, probably even this slot, honestly. And then I'm going to take all of these shards, take that off, take that off, take that off. That's going to be 3 more either duration or strength shards. And then I might even put on 1 more casting speed shard too. Now keep in mind, Matarite does give you a casting speed buff. So if you double dash before you go into her 4, you'll be casting faster and you can spam this very fast. So that's pretty quick. But yeah, see, it does wear off pretty quickly too. So that's going to be it for the build. I do highly, highly recommend this to you guys. Like I said, it's so good that I do have a feeling it will get nerfed. It's been extremely like oppressive to see. It's pretty much, I'd say this is better than Thermal Sunder, honestly. For if you have the energy economy for it, this is better than Thermal Sunder for fissures. By the way, the null shards kill enemies in nullifier bubbles too. So I could definitely see that part getting patched out, but like in general too. Like they might not make it work on boxes anymore. It makes finding the loot on the map really easily. The crazy part is the worst part about this is that you're moving so fast with Titania that the vacuum can't keep up with you. You're breaking every box, you're killing nearly every enemy, and yeah, you just can't pick up the loot fast enough. Like the vacuum is not a big enough range for how fast you're moving and how like much loot you're trying to pick up. So I think that's a good problem to have, but yeah, I definitely think that DE will be keeping their nerf radar on for this one. So hope you guys found it helpful. Like the build actually does have lots of customization. I'm not even using Archon Vitality in the footage you're seeing right now, and I wasn't using it in any of the footage today. But a lot of people do like Archon Vitality, and I have used it. It is pretty good on this build. This also will work on other frames too, technically. Like on Limbo, should work in the Rift to give you energy regen in the Rift, should work with Harrows. Regen ability should work with pretty much everybody. So yeah, even works on Nova herself if you want to play Nova to do some looting. It's not really worth reading Greedy Pull on Mag though. It's because this is just the fastest, okay? Titania with this is the fastest. You're literally an Arc Wing in the mission, and yeah, pretty straightforward. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Take it easy, and peace.